Well, hello, Rockets Round Robin. It's your boy at Slaughter, aka Mr. Negative, here hosting a new segment that we're going to call the Two-Man Game, which I think is going to be maybe a weekly, but at best, an intermittent two-man podcast with myself and your boy AK, where we go over some of the pressing topics of the day, review some games, preview some other games that are coming up during the week, and just hopefully provide you guys some good information. What's up, AK?
What's happening with you, bro? What's happening, Mr. Negative? With your negative eye.
So, yeah. All good though. All good. We're here. We're on a Sunday evening.
Yeah, we on a Sunday evening, but this thing probably gonna drop on a Monday morning. So whatever. Rockets. Good thing is Rockets coming off of a nice dub, 2 big time dubs in a row against the best team in the Eastern Conference. Take that, Evan Mobley fans. She ain't going over Evan Mobley all day. I said that. And I said it before the game, too. I was really just trolling him, though.
You're looking like a smart man.
Yeah, that's right.
I like
Evan
right. Mobley, though.
I like him. Give me Sengun all day because what Sengun did to them down the stretch, Mobley can't do that. Yeah. see, it's one thing to be 7 feet tall with like a
limitation off.
Yeah, like I get that they drafted him because they thought he was going to be Kevin Garnett, but we drafted Sengun because we knew he was going to be Jokic. See, we didn't think. We knew. That's the difference. See, that's why they the Cavs and we the Rockets. Only reason Cavs relevant because LeBron there. Well, was there.
I mean, they had some moments, but I mean, what was the 2 biggest takeaways you think? Because these games I thought were very, very different in how they played out. And like, what did you take away from the 2 games that you think will carry forward for the rest of the year?
One thing's for sure. I don't think anybody gonna try the Rockets with their zone defense again because the way we picked apart the Cavs, I don't think another team want to deal with that. Because if we could do it to Mobley and Allen at the same time while they both on the court. Yeah, we're doing it to anybody. So try that again, rest of the NBA. I wish you would. So there's that. But to me, what stood out between the 2 games is how you can tell Ime Udoka coached from one game to the next, how he adjusted from one game to the next since we played the same team back-to-back games. This is kind of a preview to what kind of a preparation we can expect in the playoffs. Because in the playoffs, you're going to play at least 4 games. So guess what? Your adjustment, my adjustment. Your adjustment, my adjustment. My adjustment to your adjustment. All of that. Ime Udoka is looking like one of those guys, one of them coaches that you don't want to coach against in the playoffs. And it's just making my mouth water for the playoffs right now, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting that they went to the zone because, I mean, theoretically, the Cavs, they have 2 great download defenders. Obviously Mobley's very versatile in being able to defend the pick and rolls and stuff. So I thought it was interesting that the Rockets were playing so well on offense that they felt the need to go to that. I mean, I know Mitchell and Garland aren't great defenders, but when you have Mobley and Allen down there, it seems like that should cover up a lot of their mistakes. And I think maybe the fact that they didn't have Okoro is something to that because they were having to plug in someone at the 3 that was always a sub. Strus is okay, but basically everyone else that they plugged in there is going to be a bad defender. So maybe that had something to do with it. But I mean, it's interesting because, I guess in theory it makes sense too. The Rockets are not a good shooting team, right? So you would think more teams would play zone against us. You probably get away with it during certain lineups for sure. If you saw us trot out Dylan Brooks, Tari, Cam. I think that would be the line to try to run the zone against.
Nah, that make my stomach hurt, man, because the ball ain't gonna move at all. Whoever got the ball, that's it. That's who taking
right,
the shot.
Exactly.
First person touch the ball after the half court is taking the shot. Jeez, man. But I also think so.
I thought that was interesting, though.
Yeah, for sure. It was very interesting. But we saw that. We knew that was going to come, though, man. We knew it was going to come because the Rockets can kind of get in a zone on offense for a team that's not really known for shooting. We can get in the zone because a lot of our guys like to get in the paint and attack with Amen especially and Sengun and Jalen. With them 3 are in attack mode, getting in your paint, get it to the free throw line, all that, of course, you can expect the zone to come. And it looked like Ime Udoka was ready for it. We practiced very well. And, man, I think we can go to a lot more of that even when teams are not in the zone. Like, we need to lean more into Amen Thompson's passing. Bro had a triple-double. He had a triple-double, man. But he played 41 minutes, which I don't like dudes playing over 40 minutes. But, hey, great team that we played against, so I guess it was warranted.
Yeah, they're young. You can get away with it when they're younger. And as long as you're not doing it like all the time or in back-to-backs and all that stuff. I mean, it was really good to see Amin's passing come around because for all the talk of him pre-draft and stuff, his passing had kind of been, I would say, disappointing, maybe even to some extent. And I mean, he showed it on all levels, whether they were like little touch passes, lasers, just little simple pocket passes, skip passes. He was really doing it all last night. So I mean, if we're going to start getting that from him and we're going to start getting 4 or 5 assists a game, and we can start counting on that, I mean, that is going to be huge for the offense.
Most definitely, man. That's why I've been preaching pretty much all season that we got to lean into his passing skill set because I think that will open up so much for the offense with his dynamic ability on offense. You can't just throw him in a dunker spot and tell him to wait your turn. Nah, he's got more dimensions to him than that. Sure, the jump shot isn't there, but he's got some nice touch around the rim with those little mid-range little jumpers that he's been throwing up, them little push shots and little floaters. It looks good for him. So, I mean, he's only taking shots that he knows he can make anyway, which is why his efficiency is so nice looking. So, I trust him. If I'm Ime, I would trust him more to be a more reliable playmaker in the half court, and he doesn't have to be the one running the pick and roll. Throw him at the elbow. Throw him at the free throw line. Throw him on the baseline and let him work. I don't know if I can count on this, but he might have a little post-up game. I would try to explore that some.
I have a theory for why he probably hasn't been at the free throw line all that much, and that is that we don't really have someone to go into the dunker spot whenever it's not him. Like Şengün is not a dunker spot player. Jeff Green limited use. We don't really just have like that athletic big that's going to go catch a lob, how he catches lobs from Şengün. And I think in the offseason, that would be something that I would like to have as just a different way to attack. I mean, I like what Steven Adams has brought. Obviously, I don't want to say he's like won us games on his own, but I think if we're going to unlock this offense more and more and really lean into him we need some people that are true above the rim play finishers.
In theory, I like it, but also in theory, I can already see some problems with it, though. If that player isn't as dynamic offensively as Şengün is with the passing and playmaking and post scoring, in case they take that lob away, then what? Because now the paint's clogged, and what are you going to do about it after that? You know what I mean? Because Amin isn't that much a shooter right now, unless Amin Thompson improves his shooting.
Well, okay, so he catches it at the middle. Well, he catches it at the middle, all right. And then, in theory, the whole reason that the lob works is that the guy that's guarding the dunker guy comes up to stop him, yeah. And so that leaves the dunker spot wide open, right? And right now, that's got to be a bounce pass to Şengün. So, I think even if there's two guys as non-shooters, even if the only way they're stopping that is if someone comes from the corner and covers the dunker, but then you got an open corner 3 or a wing 3. So I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying I understand your issue, and I think it would only be good for like a few minute stretches at a time. I'm not saying that's something we should regularly do, but I'm just saying like just as just a change of pace in a game where you have 5 minutes of that, maybe for the whole game or something.
That makes sense.
Just something a little different.
Yeah, I think we do need to explore something like that, though. That would be nice. Not sure who that player would be, but we'll see, man. I think the offseason is going to be very, very interesting for us because we can do a lot or we could do a little or we could do nothing. So we'll see. But I think everybody knows that that's probably something that we want to add. I know Ime wants to add that because every time we play against the Portland Trailblazers, him and Rob Williams having a nice little chummy time. So we know what time it is over there with that. But yeah,
you know who I would like to see in the dunker spot actually?
Who that?
Cam.
Huh.
When Jabari gets back. Because you can have Jabari out there.
Oh, you know what? That might not be a bad idea. Might not be a bad idea at all. Yeah. Okay. What's the 5-man unit though? Let me hear that.
So we'll have. So the 5-man lineup would have to be like Fred, Jalen, Amin, Cam, and Jabari.
Okay. I'm trying to think. Okay. I think that might work. That might actually.
It's not a ton of passing. I mean, collectively,
I think that
Fred,
passing is adequate though.
Probably get it done. But
yeah, with them three, adequate. I think that's adequate. And Jabari isn't necessarily a ball stopper. He'll move the ball. He'll get off the ball. He'll keep the ball moving if he don't have nothing. Because again, with Jabari, he only takes good shots. If he's butt naked, he's gonna take the shot. If he's not, he's gonna move it on to the next guy. Cam, sometimes. if he's I
don't think there's a lineup now unless.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say you're putting him in a spot where he doesn't have to make a decision. Like he's either finishing the lob or, that's all he's doing, right? I mean, it's not like he's not making a pass or he's not having to make a read or whatever. He's just kind of doing one thing. I think you can ask him to do that. And he's probably the only other person that can really finish those lobs. I mean, Jalen can finish above the rim, but you're not going to ask Jalen to sit down there. That's ridiculous.
No, of course not. No. You want him full head of steam going downhill. I mean, Cam can. Yeah, I think, you know what? That might be something we end up exploring when Jabari comes back. Because man, I'm liking how you thinking with that, though, man. We got enough shooting all over the place, too.
One of the things that Cam needs to do, I mean, he really needs to learn how to set screens, and then he needs to learn how to do the short roll stuff. Because I think he's got a huge body. I mean, he's so big. He should be a great screener for his size.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's something him and the men can both be doing it, right? And then you can run horns action with both of them.
Oh, okay, Coach, Mr. Negative. Oh, okay. See, this is good stuff, bro. I'm thinking about how it worked right now. Man, if I played NBA 2K, I'd throw that lineup out there right now and try some of this stuff. That's a good look. Watch. We see this week too. How much you want to bet?
To do the stuff.
Man, we're gonna see that this week. Sans Jabari.
I don't think we'll see it till Jabari's back. Yeah, post.
I don't know, man. Man, they be listening to us, man. Next thing you know, we're gonna see this lineup as soon as Jabari come back too. Watch. They be listening to us, bro. If y'all watching,
I mean, I guess
send our consultant fee.
Run with Tari, but they really have been not wanting to run the Tari. Amin, whoever's at the 5 there, they haven't been wanting to do that much. So, and I understand that. I mean, we're pretty small as is, so it's a lot of stress.
For a team that is that small, we don't play like it at all. Sure. We don't play like it at all. So I'll take, and I think that probably works to our advantage too, because we rebound, our wings rebound outside of Dylan. We rebound pretty well outside of Dylan, really across the board, especially with Tate in the lineup now too. You think about it, Jalen will get out there. Sometimes Jalen may not rebound, but he at least tries to box out. Fred, for a point guard, he's okay. And the reason why I'm talking about the rebounding part is everything works. Because when you get that defensive stop, we don't have to worry about offensive rebounds because we're small. We get for the most part, we grab the defensive rebound. We're an average defensive rebound team, but we're not getting punished. And we kill people on the offensive glass. So we can kind of get away with a lot of different lineups because we don't get killed on the glass like that. So, but what I'm more interested in is as far as lineups go, I'm curious. if Ime would ever throw Tari at the 5. I don't think we've seen quite that. We've seen a man. I don't know if we've seen Tari at the 5 though.
Tari was in that lineup where we played small, and I don't know. They did it for like 3 minutes, like one of the first Cavs game, I think, or maybe it was the second Cavs game because in the second half. No, because they played Adams. It was the first Cavs game, or maybe it was the game without Steven Adams. That's the game without Steven Adams. They did do it like 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, the reason I like that is because when you got Tari at the 5 and a man on the court, and you got Cam and Jalen out there with them, it's almost like you have to, if you're the other team, you better make your shot because the shot troops are about to get to running and you're not going to catch them. That's what I'm thinking about right now. Just because we seem to be able to get away with playing small so much. Well, not so much, but we seem to get away with playing small. So that's another thing I kind of would like to explore.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the switching defense, in my opinion, in some ways, needs less communication than what we're doing now, right? Like if you're just saying, "Hey, switch everything," where it becomes difficult is on the ball off screen, screens, the off ball screens, like where you're saying the slips is the on ball issue, but off the ball, I think it's a little harder to communicate sometimes. But when you're just switching everything, it's just like automatic, right? And you just can't get comfortable like what you're saying, like to allow the slip to happen. So I think in some ways it's helpful because right now it's like we're playing a switch everything except for Şengün, and then that can get I don't know what the word is, not like it can get a little confusing depending on where Şengün's man is in the action. But they've also just been using Şengün to guard like a guy that stands in the corner, which is allowing them to switch everything else on the play. So
man, they're going to start using that against us, though, man. I can already see it. I said I wasn't going to say this out loud, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. They're going to start using slip screens against Şengün in that case. And I think teams are waiting for the playoffs to start exposing that because they don't want to start doing it early because we'll have an answer for that. But we see anybody in the playoffs, when we play that kind of defense and they got Şengün trying to be a roamer, they're going to find a way to put him into action early enough, and then they're going to – because Şengün, when you start slipping on Şengün, that's when his defense gets really exposed. I can already see it happening. So hopefully we got an answer for that.
I mean, I think a lot of the problems rebounding and stuff is really defensive based. I mean, I know that we struggled against the Cavs. I felt like rebounding. I need to go look at the numbers.
So yeah, it felt like it, but I went back and looked at the numbers. We won the rebound battle by 8 in the first game. In the second game, I can't remember. I think we did win the rebound battle last night. Let me double check though. I think we did win the rebound battle last night. Because last night felt better from a rebound perspective.
25 to 33 in the first game, and defensive rebounds.
Okay.
And then we had 31
to 30.
They had 30, so it was closer.
But we won total rebounds by 5, so which is still a good trade-off. That's fine.
Yeah, but I feel like
how did they take 91 shots and we took 82?
What's that?
How did they get so many?
Free throws.
So but they shot 9 more times than us.
Yeah, free throws.
And they took more free throws than us too.
Last
Usually,
night?
Yeah.
No. We shot 45 and they shot.
Oh, I'm tripping. I'm looking at 3-point attempts. That's the 3-point attempts. Jeez, we only took 28 3-point shots. And they took 39, but they made 17. Good Lord. See, when you just look at the box scores, this is why you gotta watch the game. You just look at the box scores, you wonder like, how the hell did the Rockets win this game?
Yeah,
both games.
I mean, Cleveland got hot in the fourth.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
I'm not like I was more. I don't know. I'm not saying that you shouldn't take anything away from these two Cleveland games. Obviously, there was a lot going on, but Cleveland was playing their third game in 4 days in 3 different cities. And they were without Mobley in the first one. So I'm not saying it's a schedule loss for them, but you could tell that they did not really have the juice until they had to like laser focus in order to like finally get that juice. But I think that the Rockets do that to people too. Like teams really have to focus against us in order to, do what they want to do on offense.
Yeah, because I think our defensive physicality wears on teams. But I mean, even with all of those factors that you mentioned, though, man, you would think if it was that bad, they wouldn't have a fourth quarter that they did. You would think that they would have worn down and wore out by then, but they didn't. They got stronger. Like, what the hell?
I mean, I think that's a credit to them. They dug down deep and they fought the whole way.
I mean, they're 36-9 for a reason.
Of a good team. They're going to be a tough out because they're the one team that can match Boston in the math equation on that side. And we're going to see, I know we've already played Boston once this year, but again, limiting them to like 43s or 38 threes is like paramount. Because it's just like you can allow 17 to 23s real quickly against these guys if they get up 50. You probably allow more than that on some nights. And that's how you get blown out. That's how you get 131 points. That's atypical of how we play defense normally. Cavs are a good stress test, though. Let
me ask you this. Speaking of Boston, we play Boston Monday the 27th.
Yep.
Well, by the time we drop this, it's going to be tonight. But what are we doing? What are we doing on defense against those guys, bro?
I mean, their biggest thing is that they're a huge drive and kick team. So they have to have the paint touches in order, because they don't have a traditional pick and roll game with Porzingis. It's more pick and pop. So typically a switching defense is not bad against that, right? Because but Porzingis can obviously slip, and he's still a vertical threat even at his age. I mean, he's not like old, but he with his injuries and stuff, he's kind of like older than normal, I would think. What is he, like 29?
Damn, he ain't even 30 yet. Let me verify that. That's crazy.
Maybe he's like 31. But all that being said, he's still a vertical threat at that age. So I think that so we just got to limit the dribble penetration. These games I think are Jalen's really got to bring it, because everyone
he's 29.
29, yeah. Everyone that he guards is going to be bigger than him, except for Derek White. And it'll be interesting what they do with Drew Holiday. Are they going to stick Drew Holiday on Jalen? I mean, Jalen's going to be worn out after this game. That's going to happen.
What about last game though? Last time they played, he didn't have no problem with him.
Well, he's typically played well against Boston. I don't know
why that is.
I would have to go back and look and see how they guarded him, because I don't feel like they stuck Drew on him exclusively.
Did Drew play that game?
And he might not even play that game. Let me look. Which is
I remember if I'm recalling this right, a lot of the shots he made were, first of all, he was taking a lot of jumpers, but they were going in. It was over like long contested rangy guys. Kata, Tatum, who else? Cornette, whenever he got the switch. Like he was taking and making a lot of tough shots that game. I remember.
He was like the only person doing anything. He kind of went into Şengün really struggled. Everyone really struggled. This was like the classic. This was the Cam Whitmore 4 for 17 game. I remember that. That was bad. But I mean, again, I think in general the Rockets have grown up a lot since this game. I know it's only been like a month, but I feel like this was the first game. Oh, this was without Amin too.
Yeah, that was without Amin.
It was the first game without Jabari and without Amin.
Yeah,
because of the suspension.
That's a different dynamic in that case.
So it's a different dynamic, yeah. But I just don't think that they. I mean, you really have to make Jalen give up the ball. I mean, if I'm Boston, and I'm playing defense against Jalen. You really got to make him you force him to pass, because he just isn't crafty enough to make the passes that lead to scores. Now he can make the passes that lead to score, make another pass that lead to a score, and you got to make Amin and Şengün kind of do that. But getting the ball out of his hands is what I would try to do if I was Boston. They have the guys to do it, but they lack a lot of speed, I think, and that's why Jalen does well against Tatum and Brown. probably.
I don't think that when I watch Boston, I don't see them really double a whole lot. So I don't know if they want to start doubling in a regular season game on a Monday night. On a team that they may or may not face in the finals. So I don't know if they start switching.
Well, Drew's the trump card to all that, right? They have that in the back pocket. They're like, hey, just be a bulldog to this guy all night, and we'll trust you. That's what they do.
Yeah, and
works most times.
And if that works, if they end up doing that and that works, then Fred becomes very vital in that case, because he's probably going to be the first outlet. Yes. And then where are they doubling Jalen? Where are they going to blitz him on the pick and roll? Are they going, if he's bringing the ball up, they're going to get the ball out of his hands at half court? Because I've seen a bunch of different ways where teams kind of get in Jalen's head, especially early. Hell, we saw it with the Cavs last night. They started blitzing the pick and roll late with him. And it was stripping him. He was kind of flustered a little bit.
And that's yeah, I mean, some of that, it's just his ball handling isn't quite, where it needs to be. But one of the strengths of Şengün is that you can't put someone smaller on him. So they can't put Tatum on Şengün and pre-switch that screen with Jalen. They have to have Porzingis out there. And that's the guy that Jalen's got to attack. And we got to figure out how to get Porzingis in these actions. And then, like you said, if they're doubling, Fred's got to be ready, or Amin's got to be cutting, and then then Jalen's just got to make the right reads. And by and large, I think he's done a decent job at that, even a good job at that for most of the year. I think he could even be a little more aggressive. Like sometimes I think he gives up the ball like a little too early, like anticipating it. You know what I mean? Because he doesn't want to like it to be stuck on him. But I think, one of the things that Harden did so well, I mean, Jalen's not Harden, obviously, but Harden was very good at like really allowing the double team come to him and truly creating that 4-on-3 advantage for his teammates. And that, I mean, that's just A, passing ability, is B, just know-how, being in that situation a whole bunch, so that, not expecting Jalen to do that, but it's just something he could watch and learn, watch some film on it.
Yeah. I don't see him doing that until maybe like year 7, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's an entire evolution process for sure.
Yeah. And he's got to like get his ass whooped in the playoffs. Like he has to have like a miserable playoff series or like one miserably bad game that's going to stick in his mind forever and tell himself this can never happen again. He got to have one of those moments before he starts to develop some of those vital basketball IQ things that we see a lot of these guys don't develop until they get in the playoffs. Have a bad series or have a bad possession or a bad quarter, something really bad that they never want to happen to them again. That's got to happen at a high leverage situation before they start to learn. And then go into the off season and start to, figure out what the game plan is. So this week we talked Boston. Who else we got this week?
We are playing at Memphis and then versus the Nets on Saturday.
At Memphis.
Tough week.
It's inevitable that we play Memphis in the playoffs. It's inevitable.
Yeah, that's going to be the first round series. It'll be like the 4-5 or
first.
Like the 2-3. Could be the 2-3. Yeah.
First round. That means one of the two.
I mean, I'm just saying I could see one of us slipping, either Memphis because of injuries or the Rockets just because they're we're young and yada yada yada. The other thing in the Boston game though is that Al Horford didn't play in the first game.
Yeah, he did.
And he's kind of like potentially the trump card to if Porzingis can't play because Jalen's killing them off of that. Obviously, their offense takes a dip, but that's kind of like the trump card, I think, to in their mind of how they would attack that. And Jalen's just got to make them pay. He's got to get good shots.
Yeah, I think getting open shots, making the open shots, I think is going to be very critical. But we like to put a little inside out, and the inside was just completely taken away last game. And Cornette was just dealing with Şengün. I was very shocked that he'll sit there and let somebody like Cornette deal with him like that. but then go and make Jared Allen and Evan Mobley look like children.
Jalen does that stuff too, man. So
Yeah, what the hell is wrong with these young guys, bro? Like, what's up?
He'll get locked up by like Peyton Pritchard, but then he wants to go freaking ham on the New Orleans guy. I'm like okay,
what the hell, man?
Like, what are we doing?
Like, what the hell? Hold on, wait. Did they move the Atlanta game to this?
They did to the 28th. Oh yeah. So we have a back.
So it's a back-to-back. Oh. Yeah, that kind of.
So it's Boston at Atlanta and then at Memphis, which is actually not a bad road trip, but that's a tough 3 and 4.
So we got 4 road games in a row.
Oh, no, yeah.
That Memphis game might be an L. I'll tell you what, if we come out of this road trip 4-0, we got to start having some conversations.
I would take 2 and 2.
Yeah, I'll take 2 and 2 for sure. But if we come out 4-0, we need to start having some conversations about who's winning some certain awards in this NBA season, because I understand people want to give JB Bickerstaff his credit for being coach of the year, maybe, possibly this year. I understand Kenny Atkinson with the Cavaliers, but the job Ime Udoka is doing needs to be recognized. And if you ask me, I don't think anybody else has a better case than Ime Udoka. I don't think they do. I just don't. We have no accolades.
I'm with you.
Nobody has any accolades on this team except Fred with the token All-Star game and the NBA championship. But he ain't even really the one doing the heavy lifting.
I mean, I know we're going to talk about the All-Stars and awards here in a minute, but I'm not like it's interesting because in some ways, like, it would be basically unprecedented for the Rockets to not get an All-Star. But at the same time, I'm not like blown away by any of our individual candidates. And if that doesn't say anything about why Ime Udoka should win Coach of the Year, I mean, he's the All-Star. He's the driving force between all of this. I mean, it's like everyone else has the player be the face of the franchise, and much like the Spurs, we have a coach. And if he has, I mean, basically he would have gone from 26 to 41 to 54 or 56. I mean, that's an insane 2-year jump. I mean, the OKC guy, I don't know what he won it by last year, but that would be a similar jump there. I felt like he won it pretty comfortably for Coach of the Year. Yeah. And I think that's basically the same case, but with, I would say even young. I would say by and large, I think we have a younger team than what OKC had last year. So I don't know. I'm with you. I think he should win Coach of the Year.
Yeah, and then the guys doing the heavy lifting on the team are not guys that are really. These are all guys still on their rookie contracts. The guys that are really doing the heavy lifting. Right. So it's like, because think about it, man. You got, before Jabari went down, he was coming around. His defense was so underrated, and you wouldn't have thought that our defense would have been impacted so much with him going down. But you can see the way Coach Ime has used them made our defense look so great. And then you got Amen Thompson. I don't even need to say too much. Amen Thompson is going to be on like 3 different ballots to me. I don't know if you want to just go ahead and get into all the award agenda stuff right now, man.
Yeah, let's go for it. Yeah. We'll start with Coach of the Year. We'll work our way down.
Coach of the Year. We enough said about that. We just talked about it. There's no. I don't really want to hear nothing about nobody else, man, because we had the most uphill battle of any of these other guys. Well, probably not JB Bickerstaff, but JB Bickerstaff does have a what you want to call it, a blue blood. It's not a blue blood. What you call that? A blue chipper. You got a blue chipper in Kate Cunningham. You got a blue chipper.
He's done a great job like Ime did last year.
Yeah. He deserves and Ime didn't win it last year.
But he shouldn't win Coach of the Year.
Right. He's done a good enough job. And Jaden Ivey just went down too, and they still been, winning at a pretty good clip. But it's nothing compared to what the Rockets are doing. It's just not. So Ime, Coach of the Year, that's easy. Now, Amen Thompson, He needs to be in the Defensive Player of the Year discussion. He needs to be on all defense, no question. He needs to be on all defense, and he needs to be most improved player. He needs to be on all them 3 ballots, no question. He needs to be on all 3 ballots this year. Alperen Şengün, All-Star. I mean, people who watch the Rockets, they say Alperen Şengün is an All-Star. People who just watch box scores, they don't understand. It's really just that simple. You watch the Rockets, you see, all right, yeah, that's the guy right there. He's probably an all-star. His problem is the guys who are probably going to end up being ahead of him. AD, Wemby, hell, Triple J, Jalen Williams from OKC since they got him as front court. Jokic is a start.
Jokic.
But yeah, when the coaches start voting, I'm sure someone will have
Wemby being as good as he's been, and then combined with the fact that the Spurs are where they are record-wise, and he's very obviously carrying a team that is, not good, to say the least. I mean, Wemby throws a wrench into the whole thing. Like, if Wemby's not there, then I think Şengün's case is a little more comfortable, because then you're like, okay, is it Şengün or Sabonis? Well, I mean, Şengün's on a better team. They have similar numbers. Or is Şengün versus AD? I don't really think they leave AD off, but I mean, again, it's like similar
and
numbers.
He's a Laker.
Yeah. But here's the other thing, and typically I would say center's not really a great position for an all-star, but Wemby obviously would be a ton of fun, but Şengün would be throwing some like wild ass passes. I think he'd be a great addition to the all-star game. He's just an entertaining watch.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, but I mean, they're gonna do that whole 3-on-3 thing this year, so I don't know how that's gonna look, but whatever. Hell, if you really want to talk about guys being entertaining, you put Jalen Green in that game. We're gonna see a bunch of in-game dunks in that game. You want entertainment? He entertaining for that for sure. And hell, if he end up getting hot, he mess around and win All-Star Game MVP. If you get hot from 3 and he's dunking all over everybody, no, that'd be memorable, be entertaining for everybody. But yeah, I forgot. It's another award. Well, Amen would have been 6th man of the year. He would have been in that conversation, but he's been starting too much. Then I would have said Tari, but Tari missed out a whole lot of time, so can't really. Tari probably can make Defensive Player of the Year though. He played enough. Nah, he's already past that 65 game. He can't play 65 games, so he's probably not going to be able to make it.
I don't, and the funny thing about the whole team is I can't even say, and this is part of, like, I would say in general, I've had more confusion about how we've gotten to where we've gotten to an extent than I can think of. I mean, also, we haven't really gone through this whole rebuilding process as a Rockets fan, so it's kind of like a first time thing. But, we're not, it's not even like we're greater than the sum of our parts, because our parts are all very, very good. It's just like incredible how deep the team is. And it's amazing the versatility that each player has, despite containing like a singular crazy bad flaw amongst all of the players. But it's like they're still so versatile that it just doesn't matter. And it like always covers for the other guy. And it's just weird how it's all meshed together in this way that has created such a fabulous team. AKA Mr. Negative.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you on that, man. But my take on that is mostly we do all of the little things, man. All of the little things, all of them. You don't really see, for a team that's quote unquote young, you don't really see a whole bunch of, man, what are you doing? Like, you don't say that a whole lot watching the Rockets play, as opposed to, hell, if you watch a Warriors game now, you're like, man, what the hell are these guys doing? Like, you're doing too much, like, to get this outcome. Like, what are you doing? So and then especially defensively, like, if you want to pick on something defensively against the Rockets, you'll be hard pressed to find something. Even if you try to isolate and attack Şengün, you're doing it to our benefit, because whoever Şengün is guarding is going to be somebody who is not used to taking over a game offensively anyway. So good luck with that.
Right,
So it's
right.
like I just think our game plan from game to game, I think has been good. Attention to detail has been good on both ends. And up until Jabari got hurt, we've been relatively healthy. It's just a lot of the little things that needed to happen, and maybe some luck too with Garland missing free throws that he 90% at. So maybe a little bit of luck too. But our point
What if I
differential
told
has
you
been good.
this? And I don't know what it is this year, but I'm gonna look it up real quick. But last year we underperformed our like a Pythagorean is like based on your like net rating and stuff, and it tells you like how many wins you should have by 4 games. We were technically a 45 win team last year, according to that.
According
So
to how
this
we
year,
were supposed to or projected to be.
our expected win loss based on our net rating and all that called like your Pythagorean win total. And this year we were right on it. So I wouldn't say we've gotten lucky, and I wouldn't say we've gotten unlucky. I mean, you can say the injury stuff, but when you're a younger team, you're just going to have less injuries. I mean, that's youth.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. Where you find that damn stat at? That's interesting.
If you just go to the team page on Basketball Reference, it has like your wins, underneath all the like strength of schedule, offensive rating, net rating, yada yada yada.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna start looking into that a little bit more. Start making some nice little tweets with that, just to push a little bit of propaganda.
But it makes sense, right? Because we're a young team, so it makes sense why we underperformed last year. I mean, some of that's bad luck, some of that's just being young and stupid, right?
Some of it.
Well, some of it's being old and stupid too, if you're a Fred. But we don't have to get into it.
Wow, shots fired.
Shots fired. But all that being said, again, I think it's just the whole thing with the All-Star game. It's like part and parcel of the team not getting the respect it deserves to an extent. I think we're like 14th in championship odds. Like we're below like Minnesota, Golden State, Lakers, New York, the Knicks.
Is that updated during the season, or is that like?
Yeah. It's like it was like as of yesterday when I looked at it. We were like 14.
Nah. Somebody smoking anthrax. Something ain't right.
Yeah, I'll look it up again real quick, but I'll tell you what it is. So,
that ain't right at all.
If you're a betting person, let's see.
While you looking that up, I'm gonna pull up something interesting on our from Basketball Reference. So if you look at win shares,
we're below the Suns.
Man, what the hell? Nah, bro. This is why. See, it's stuff like this that make me hate numbers. And I'm not a number hater, but it's some of them where I just don't give no credence to it all. Like, what are you talking about? These are teams that we've stomped a mud hole in. What are we talking about here, man?
Well, some of it's like they may be like, all right, if the Suns get Butler, would they beat the Rockets in a series? I don't know. Maybe, I guess. The argument could be had, I guess. But all that being said, it seems very silly. I mean, typically the better coach team wins, and usually those guys have the better players, but it's not all the time.
Yeah, definitely not all the time.
We're like top shelf mid-aughts Detroit Pistons. That is like our thing. I think because we have the more high-end talent. Now you could argue Rasheed Wallace is like an A-tier player. I know some people would argue that, or S-tier.
On his good nights, but yeah. Like when he was on, yeah, you could put him up there with anybody.
Yeah, right. But I think we have like 4 of those guys that could be like, if they're just on their game, they could be like the best player of the game.
That is true. So yeah, we already know who the top 3 are: Amen, Jalen, Şengün. Who's the 4th one? Fred
could be, yeah.
Funny you say that.
Ari could be the best player in the game.
He has been a couple times. It's funny. It's funny we say those 5 names because those are the top 5 players in defensive win shares for the team and win shares in general for the team right now. Interesting. Very interesting. And it's funny because we playing good teams now too. So imagine what Jabari's numbers would look like if he was playing now. There's just a lot of stuff. There's a lot of
Yeah.
stuff that we don't make any sense.
Well, so we'll
The Rockets don't make any sense.
we'll save it for probably next week's episode. Whenever,
Yeah, we could probably save it for
whether
that.
what they should do with the starting lineup, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, we could talk about that. We could talk about
So,
that.
all right.
I think
So
a lot
we
of
have.
people have spoken about it, but yeah,
So
we'll talk about it.
So is Şengün? Do you think Şengün deserves an All NBA nod?
No.
So you wouldn't put him. I don't even know how they do the All NBA teams anymore. Is there like 3 centers that make it, or is it just like forwards? I forget.
But it depends on who they classify as what. Because if they're classifying, we all know Jokic already got the first spot sold up, and what is it? 3 spots? It's 3 spots, right? Okay.
Right.
The second, it depends on who they have classified as a center. Because
I'd assume you'd have if we're just strictly talking centers,
and the media is voting
Jokic,
on it, right?
You have AD. What's up?
The media votes on that, right?
Yeah.
Wemby is on it. It's guaranteed.
Yeah, they're media members. Yeah.
All right, so that's 2 spots right there. Jokic, Wemby. Who's third? Embiid hurt, so he don't count. Bam having a bad season. He ain't on there. AD, if they classify him as a center, yeah.
If he plays enough games.
Yeah, if he plays enough.
I mean, I don't know. After that, I think Şengün may be third. I mean, who are you going to have? I don't think you could.
Towns could probably make it. Yeah. Just because he has like the raw numbers.
I haven't even looked at his numbers.
The raw numbers would have him on there.
So he's doing, let's see. So he's 25 and 11. 25 and 14. Jesus, I didn't realize he was doing that. Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's going to be tough to beat.
Yeah, exactly.
On like, how many threes is he shooting a game? Only 5. I figured he'd be shooting more. Monster year, though. No doubt.
Yeah, definitely. And
it's 237 win shares per 48. Yeah, that's pretty fucking good. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be saying that, but yeah. Man, he's leading the league in defensive rebound percentage and total rebound percentage. That's pretty good.
That is very good.
That's a deserved. Yeah, I think Şengün's got an uphill battle for that.
Yeah, he does. And then just because a lot of this stuff is numbers based, because people don't be watching games, Sabonis, people gonna make an argument for Sabonis too.
Sabonis is interesting because I just don't, obviously he just doesn't have the individual, like he's still very reliant on someone else starting the play and then him either being a play finisher or passer. But I mean, he's very improved in pretty much every offensive category. He's shooting like 42% from 3.
47.
47. I mean, that's freaking good compared to where he was like 3 years ago when he couldn't shoot free throws. And now he's here.
But again, it goes back to if people are actually watching. Because if you're watching, you'll say Alperen Şengün is better. But if you're just looking at numbers, Sabonis got the better numbers.
Yeah.
And he's been in the league longer and he's got a little bit more of a reputation. So it's an uphill battle for Alperen Şengün, man. Just understanding how these things work, how their voting goes and all that. It's an uphill battle.
I agree. I'm not sure that he should make it this year anyway. I mean, I think you alluded to the fact that Amin should be on the defensive player, one of the 2 teams, right? And in the DPOI category, that I think is very real. But it's also
that's the realest one.
And he has the. They don't really start talking about defensive player of the year until later in the season anyway.
Yeah.
Sometimes it jumps off the page, like I know they did with like the whole Gobert, Draymond Green thing back in the day, and that kind of started earlier. I felt like the most conversations, but he has that because he's only going to get better, and he's only starting to scratch the surface, and he's starting to play the real minutes that a DPOY guy would play. So I'm going to look up what his defensive win shares are compared to the rest of the league. But
compared to the rest of the league. Well, crazy. I don't know how that's going to look because on our team right now, he's defensive win shares. He's second behind Şengün. And I don't know that. Well, then again, you got to compare. If maybe we can do for the league, and then we can look at compared to
I think he should
position
make
based.
it. So he's 10th in both defensive win shares, which is a cumulative stat, and he's played less minutes. So his win shares per 48 on the defensive side would be significantly higher than pretty much everyone else outside of probably Wemby, because he's only played 1,200 minutes. The only person above him would be Cason Wallace. You know who's 8th in defensive win shares?
It's not.
You'll never guess.
It's not that percent. Jalen Green.
James Harden.
James Harden. Interesting.
James Harden.
I was watching the Clippers play last night.
But he's also he's 10th in defensive box plus minus as well, which is like not a cumulative stat. So yeah, I think that he should get it. I think he should be one of the 10 guys, yeah.
I think
and the fact that he
guards so many people.
Right?
Yeah, and he guards up and down the lineup. It doesn't matter.
Like Dyson Daniels should get there, right? Like I'm just saying guard.
Dyson Daniels, boy. I like him.
Dude, SGA, Dyson Daniels, Wemby.
SGA not even the best defender on his team.
Probably Giannis.
Yeah, Giannis is gonna obviously be.
Well, who's the best defender now with Check on?
Jalen Williams.
You think so?
Yeah, I think he's even better than Lou Dart.
Yeah, I mean, I think Lou Dart's kind of is I don't know what the word exactly is. He's like a merchant, or whatever.
He's more of an enforcer.
They are first and second though. Him and Jalen Williams. OKC's.
Yeah, I think Jalen Williams is probably their best defender. SG, I think but how much of that goes into your team being a good defensive team?
A fair amount, but I think it's like kind of both, right? Like, you have to have good defensive players to be a good defensive team, and it's a little easier for guards, I think, to not carry the brunt of the workload, right? Like the fact that the Spurs are so good defensively. Not like they're all NBA defense, but like they're middle of the road, despite the fact that they have like bad defenders, because the center can make up for so much of it. Like where it was a wing guy is not going to be able to do that. But Almond's kind of different. So, but man, I don't know. I think he has a real case.
Yeah, we don't necessarily have like a paint presence defensively, quote unquote, like somebody who's just out there with like, yeah, we're not trying to go into the paint to deal with that. The way the Rockets play, you don't even get in the paint.
Well, the Rockets have they allow this frequency, obviously, the second most 2-pointers. Them in Boston, when they play like the same way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Shut down the threes, allow the points in the paint. But you know what makes me mad is like the fact that like LeBron or all these guys that are like way post prime, Kobe at the end of his career, they get these like all NBA defensive teams, Mike at the end of his career based on their like reputation. But then James Harden actually having a great freaking defensive season isn't going to get shit for it because of his reputation. He should probably get it. He should probably get a nod.
No, I just listen. I watch the Clippers every now and again. Man, I watched a play last night. I was like, James still don't even move his feet. Like he doesn't move them. He just sits there in quicksand. Like, why don't you move those legs you have? Well, you got all these moves on offense and none of them on defense. Move your feet, brother.
He can't it's all about manipulation, though. He can't manipulate. It's much harder to manipulate from the defensive side of the ball. It's hard to manipulate the ball handler.
True enough. But you would think, man, some of these guys, think of somebody like Chris Paul, man. Little old Chris Paul. Always a positive defender no matter what. And he's like 57 years old.
He's older than me. I don't know if he's older than you, but that's
he's older than both of us. He was there with Martin Luther King. He got shot. He old. He had LeBron old, bro.
But the bottom line is, I think Amin deserves to be on the Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, what he's done is outstanding, and I would say, given the fact that Şengün slipped a little bit, and that, I mean, I wouldn't consider a team of, I know Jalen's improved, and he's definitely been pretty good one-on-one. his team defense hasn't been great lately, but neither here nor there. The fact that Amin is like spearheading this defense at this point, you'd agree with that?
Yeah, hell yeah. Hell
and I mean, you're spearheading the second best defensive team in the league at 21.
Well, no, wait. Let me think about that for a second.
I mean, the way that Dylan slipped, Fred slipped.
As of late, you could say. As of late, yeah, he's spearheading
like a month probably.
But the defense hasn't looked as good. Because honestly, I don't know how much. This is probably just me being a Jabari stan, but I want to give him the credit for the defense at this point. But also, I know it has something to do with us playing better teams. But
well, I think it's like a multitude of factors. It's not like just one thing or another, right? I mean, I think Jabari definitely helps the defense. Having someone that's tall helps the defense, but also just I think that he got the advantage of Fred and Dylan being fresh.
Okay, yeah.
And he's going to get that advantage again after the All-Star break. But hopefully he's going to have a lot more work to do, especially if Şengün, if they have figured out more ways to attack Şengün. I'm interested to see how Jabari plays on defense with Amin there, because I think he, in some ways, will have more responsibility and less responsibility.
I would like to see
he'll have more responsibility because I think he'll have to cover for Şengün a little more. Well, I just think, just like if you're substituting Amin for Dylan, let's say that's the starting lineup after the All-Star break or when Jabari comes back.
Okay.
I think he'll have more responsibility to be the rim protector, but I think he would have less responsibility to be a help defender all the time, like he was, maybe before, where I don't know. I just think he's gonna have a slightly different role than what it was because of how Amin guards versus how Dylan guards. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And also he's going to be more free because he's not going to his rebounding isn't going to be as necessary. So he can. I'm not saying he shouldn't rebound, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, I understand.
Dylan is like a negative rebounder, right? Like he probably loses us more rebounds than he gains.
Yeah, he does. Because he doesn't. Yeah, I've had this complaint about him since he was in Memphis. Like for a guy that's physical, you would expect him to rebound more. It doesn't make sense that he doesn't. But whatever. So I'm looking at I'm trying to look for like 2-man lineups right now because I want to see what the defensive rating is. Like who got the highest defensive 2-man rating on the Rockets right now. So give me a quick second. Let me pull this up. And you know what? We could probably make something like this a weekly thing. See, okay, all right. So for the Rockets, the best defensive 2-man lineup. Well, got to find one of guys who've actually played enough minutes. Yeah, I hate that it does this. All right, cool. Jabari and Tate, they played 46 minutes together, and they have a defensive rating of 82.7. Then after that is Tari and Holiday at 83.0, and they played 86 minutes together. Interesting.
Man, and the thing about Jabari is that he makes Tate playable. Like, Tate is so rough when you run him out there with the men and Şengün or whatever. But that's another guy. You can run these small lineups, and you have Tate, a very good plus defender in like 7 to 10 minute stretches of our full game time. He's very playable in that kind of lineup.
I got another one for you. At 87.3, Jabari and Cam Whitmore. 80 minutes they've played together.
So I mean, I haven't looked at it like up to date, but I think the defense has actually been better with Cam on the floor than off the floor.
Interesting.
As a whole, which is you wouldn't have expected that. But the funny thing is that the assist percentage of the team when he's on the floor versus off the floor is like -5%. It's like 49% when he's on the floor.
And the thing that I'm noticing and looking at these numbers, there's always a bench player in our best defensive two-man lineups. There's always a bench player in there. Holiday, Tate, Cam, Tari, Holiday again, Tate. Yep.
Well, so what about, could you limit it to like units that have played like 300 minutes or something together? Or like at least 300 minutes? Because I mean 46 minutes is nice, but it's not like that's like nothing really.
There's so many roles.
That's going to limit out. That's going to weed out the bench players, though, or like bench players. I mean, maybe Amin and Tari would still be there, but you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, I wish it would give me a limit, but it doesn't give me a limit over here in the yeah. But you know what? Well, know what it does do? So it look like I can do past number of games. So we can do. Yeah. Matter of fact, let's do this week. We're doing this live on the pod. Cool. How many games we played this week? We played Cleveland twice, and we played who the hell else? Did we lose somebody? Sacramento? Was it Sacramento? No. We lost to
Detroit,
to the Pistons. So last three games. Let's look at that. All right. So we just looking at defensive rating. So, all right. In Şengün and Holiday, 66.7. That's number one, but they only played one game. And that was 9 minutes. Let me look at somebody. Let me look at one where it's at least 3 games, all 3 games. So Şengün and Cam Whitmore, again, a bench player. Dylan Brooks and Cam Whitmore at 73.1, another bench player. That's interesting. Van Vliet and guess who?
Cam Whitmore,
86.9. That's crazy. Like, okay. I got another one for you. Amin Thompson, and guess who?
Cam Whitmore.
It's very interesting. And it's not like we played BS teams. I wouldn't call the Pistons a BS team no more, by the way.
No. Yeah. The Pistons, the Pistons are fun to watch.
Yeah, they are. They are very fun. I love Cade, man.
Yeah, Cade. I mean, you know, Cam's got problems for sure, but I mean, his defensive ceiling, I think, is a lot higher than people would estimate. And I mean, to me, I think he can be like, you know, I don't know if he'll ever be like Jaylen Brown's gotten his assist percentage up to like 20% or something. But I mean, I think he can be a better defender than Jaylen Brown.
Nah, you're asking a lot. You're asking a lot.
Yeah, he probably wouldn't be the help side defender, but I think he can be. I mean, I think he's a better athlete, though. I mean, I really think he can. He moves his feet very, very nicely for a guy his size.
Man, listen, I'm a little bit of a Jaylen Brown stan, just a little bit.
I wanted him here. I wanted him here at one point.
Oh yeah, woo, man! I would have acted a slap full everywhere I went if we got Jaylen Brown.
All right, we'll trade everyone. We'll trade all the core for Jaylen Brown and John Morant, and you can just go crazy.
Okay, you include John. All right, now I could kind of get behind that. Yeah, we got to keep one of the core. We keep Jabari. Because somebody gonna want him in for sure.
You get to keep Reed.
Hey, you know what? That might work. We need a shooter, and he'll have all the runway to come and make all the mistakes he wants at that point. Yeah, and then next thing you know, he gonna catch fire, and then next thing you know, he gonna get all of the fraud and Jimmy Fredette comes out of his way. And we're gonna start having some real conversations about Reed. Yeah.
Be more. Get the Steve Nash, Chris Paul comps fired up. Yeah.
I don't even know if I want the Steve Nash ones because of the defense, but I'll take it, I guess. Yeah, Steve Nash.
I mean, offensively.
Offensively, yeah, sure. But I prefer more closer to Chris Paul. I know Steve Nash won a couple of MVPs, but I'll still take Chris Paul over Steve Nash. I don't care.
Did they ever play each other? They play each other in the playoffs?
In the playoffs?
No. The Clippers or Hornets, Suns?
I don't remember.
I don't think so.
I don't think they did. I don't think they ever matched up in the playoffs. Would have been interesting, though. Dang, Chris Paul really is that old. He really is that old. Jeez, that's crazy. But yeah, man.
Yeah, he was like, but it would have been like his third year.
Maybe, yeah.
David West, Peja, Jamal Mashburn, Jamal
McGlure. He said Jamal Mashburn, Jamal McGlure.
Like PJ Brown might have been on that team or something.
Tyson Chandler wasn't there yet.
Yeah, Tyson Chandler. He was on.
Was he there?
Yeah.
Was he there at that point? That was a long time ago. Jeez. You started talking about
they did play together. They did. I don't know if it was whenever Steve Nash was still relevant, but they did play together.
I know they did. Yeah. I know they played together. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that squad was kind of nice. Didn't they go to? I don't know if they went to. They didn't go to a Western Conference Finals. It was in the second round. I think they lost to the Spurs or something.
Like every year.
Yeah, like because Chris Paul didn't get out the second round until he came to Houston. That's funny. And Russell Westbrook didn't get out the first round without KD until he came to Houston. James Harden pattern there.
By the skin of James Harden's fingernail, man.
Yeah. Boy, I don't even want to talk about that last game because I was like, this can't happen. But whatever. I don't know, man. It's probably a good place to wrap it up. Yeah, anything? Any final thoughts before we?
No, I mean, I think we covered it. Look, you go in, you beat Cleveland twice, and regardless of what Cleveland's circumstances are, those are great wins. You shouldn't, you can't not take something away from that. And you took a great shot from Cleveland in the fourth. I mean, that. I'm not saying they have like championship pedigree, but that's winning team pedigree from Cleveland, and you took their shot and you held them at bay. We'll have more data points this week, 4 games to learn from, a lot of tough games. Both the Hawks and the Nets are feisty, and it's just a lot of games in a short amount of time. And then we got Şengün as an all-star, and then I'm in agreement with you about Amin as a I don't think he'll win DPOY, but they should give him some votes just for some recognition. But he should definitely make an all defensive team. I think he's going to be like top 7 by the end of the year in both box plus minus and defensive win shares. I would be, unless an injury happens, I'd be pretty shocked that doesn't happen, and that should seal it, to be honest.
Yeah, we definitely are. Things are definitely looking up. I want to do one last segment. I think we can make this a weekly thing. The two-man lineup of the week, and this is gonna go to the two-man lineup that has the highest net rating for a duo that has played a minimum of 30 minutes together. That duo is ding 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 Tari Eason and Cam Whitmore. Plus 33.
That was it last week.
Yep, that's their net rating for last.
I'm a little surprised that they've gelled like that. I mean, I know they're like friends and stuff off the court, but they play like so similarly that you feel like it would like not end well. But they're just so active on both ends that they're always moving. They're always using their hands to create steals and stuff that it just kind of works. And they're both, Cam's been rebounding the ball better. He should be a very good rebounder for his size, and obviously Tari's great. So,
everybody has chemistry with Tari. Everybody on and off the court.
Right.
Everybody plays well with Tari. Yeah, just like him. Everybody plays well with those guys. But I think Tari and Cam. I think they kind of mesh together even better because Cam offensively is like Tari defensively. They thrive in chaos. Like they know how to make things. They know how to make things happen, and they're kind of move first, ask questions last kind of guys. I wanted to say shoot first, ask questions last. You know what? We're gonna go with that. That combo is shoot first, ask questions last. On both ends, really, because Tari, he doesn't give a damn who he's guarding. He's coming after you, and he'll think about it later. Ex Darius Garland on that foul at the 3-point.
They're both moving the ball better on offense, though. I mean,
they
I
are.
Think Tari had like 4 assists in one of the games last week, and I think Cam before last game had 2 assists in like 4 or 5 consecutive games. So I mean, they're I mean, I think he went like I think he only had like 4 or 5 of those games last year total. So, improvements.
Yeah. Baby steps, man. Yeah, man. I think we can
Baby steps.
go ahead. I think we can go ahead.
What do you think? Last one. What do you think? The record is going to be? We got at Boston, at
this
Atlanta,
week.
at Memphis versus the Nets. What do you got us going?
Man, why you put me on the spot like that? Boston, Atlanta, Memphis, and Brooklyn. If I'm being completely unbiased, I gotta say 2-2, man. And the 2 wins we get are gonna be lucky as hell.
I'm gonna say 1-3. I think it's gonna be a tough week for us.
Okay, I can see that's very possible. Hell, we can go 0-4. That's possible too.
I would say I don't know if we've lost 4 games in a row with Ime, so I would say that's probably unlikely. But I could pretty much see all the other possibilities happening from 1-3 to 4-0.
Yep.
So
I can see. There's a lot of different variations, man. We'll see, man. We'll see.
We'll square it up and we'll learn some more, and then we'll have some more 2-man game. All right. Wait, am I the play finisher or are you?
Man, listen, you the point guard. You can decide to pass the rock if you want, or you're
catching the lobs. I like that.
All right, cool. All right, let me go ahead and close this out. Yeah, appreciate everybody for tuning in to the first edition of the 2-Man Game. Let us know if you like what you heard, what you saw. If you want more of it, let us know down below in the comments. I'm your man, AK Infinity. Follow me on Twitter at AKInfinity_VVS. Follow the 2 of us on the Rockets Round Robin YouTube channel where you are right now. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Don't be ahead of your whole life. Hit the like button. And your comments down below, they can be nice, they can be mean, whatever criticisms you got for us. We like them both ways. No deal.
Bring it.
All right, man. You want to go ahead and shoot them people off?
Yeah. And you can find me at Slaughter, aka Mr. Negative. If you want to feel bad about the team, I'm your guy. We'll catch you later next week.
All right, y'all. We out, man.